Hi everyone, I'm Hongru from JuiceFS. In this video, I'll be introducing how to install and use JuiceFS on the Windows operating system. With the arrival of JuiceFS 1.3.0, the new version, a series of issues that previously existed on the Windows system, subcommand errors, panic issues when running system service and box file permissions have all been fixed. Starting from version 1.3.0, the experience and functionality of using JuiceFS have been significantly improved. Next, in addition to introducing the basic installation and usage of JuiceFS, I also demonstrate how to enable the WebDAV service and S3 gateway, as well as how to set up auto mount on startup with detailed steps for JuiceFS. So now let's switch the view to the desktop. On Windows systems, JuiceFS relies on WinFSP to implement file system mounting. WinFSP is an open source file system proxy component. Its functionality is similar to Fuse on Linux systems. We can visit the GitHub project page for WinFSP or the official website to download and install the program. Next, let's install the JuiceFS client. First, go to the JuiceFS GitHub repository page. On the right side, in the Releases section, you can find the latest stable version. Click to view the details of that version. In the version list, at the bottom of the page, find the installer for Windows systems and download it. After downloading, double-click to open the archive. Inside, you'll see a file named JuiceFS, which is the JuiceFS client. For easier use and management, you can create a dedicated folder to store the client. Copy the JuiceFS exe program from the archive into that folder. Next, open the system's environment variable settings. Find and select Path and add a new entry. Use the Browse button to select the folder you just created. Confirm and save the configuration. After completing the above steps, open the terminal. Type JuiceFS. If running the command returns help information, it means the JuiceFS client has been successfully installed on your Windows system. Next, let's go over how to upgrade the JuiceFS client. When a new version is released, for example, our latest 1.3.0 beta version, you can go to the right side of the GitHub project homepage, click to expand the Releases section, and on this page, you can view all released versions. Once you find the target version, on the Details page, download the client installation package for the Windows platform. Download the client installation package. After the download is complete, double-click to open the compressed file. Then drag the JuiceFS client program inside and drop it into the installation directory you set up earlier. Replace the original program file to complete the upgrade. Afterwards, you can enter a command in the terminal to check the current client version number to confirm whether the upgrade was successful. Next, we'll explain how to create a JuiceFS file system on a Windows system. The specific steps are the same as the usage on other operating systems. The format command is used to format the file system. Here, I have already prepared the format command, which can be directly pasted into the terminal for execution. In this command, the format subcommand is used to format a new file system. The storage parameter specifies the storage type, which is a locally deployed mini-IO object storage. The bucket parameter points to the local mini-IO bucket address. The access key and secret key are the credentials for accessing the object storage. The local radius is specified using database number 3 as the metadata engine. Finally, the file system is named MyWinFS. After executing this command, you will see a prompt on the screen indicating that the file system has been successfully created. At this point, you can use the mount command to mount the file system as a Windows network drive in File Explorer. In the command, you need to specify the address of the metadata engine and an available system drive letter. In the list of network locations in File Explorer, a network drive named MyWinfs will appear. After double-clicking to open it, you will see that the file system is in a brand new state with no files contained in it. At this point, you can try copying files into this directory to test storage. When you try to use the D parameter to mount the JuiceFS file system in the background, you may encounter a permission denied error displayed on the screen. This is because JuiceFS mounts the file system in the background. Mounting the file system in the background is an operation that requires administrator privileges. At this point, you just need to launch the terminal as an administrator and run the same mount command again to successfully complete the background mount operation. Open File Explorer, and now you can see the successfully mounted file system. When you need to unmount a file system mounted in the background, simply use the mount command in the terminal, enter the specified drive letter, and execute the command to unmount it from the local system. In a production environment, directly in the command line, entering the password for the metadata engine may pose certain security risks. To avoid entering the password in plain text, we can adopt the method of setting environment variables to store the password for the metadata engine, thereby enhancing security. On Windows systems, you can set environment variables with the following steps. First, search for and open the Edit the System Environment Variables program from the Start menu, then click the Environment Variables button. In the pop-up window, you can set user-level environment variables, you can set user-level environment variables, or set system-level environment variables. If you want to automatically mount the JuiceFS file system at startup, it is recommended to set system-level environment variables so that the client can read the password information stored in them. Next, create a new environment variable with the name meta password. For the value of the environment variable, enter the password for the metadata engine, which is a database access password. After setting it, confirm and save. Once the settings are saved, reopen a terminal to test. Enter the mount command, and you can verify whether the file system was mounted successfully. If the mount is successful, you can proceed further to set up automatic mounting of the file system at a startup. Automatically mounting the JuiceFS file system at startup is a very common requirement, and the setup method is quite simple. We can open the Start menu, search for Task Scheduler, and then click Create Task on the right side. Next, we define a task name, which can simply be the name of the file system. Check the option Run with highest privileges below. This is because mounting the JuiceFS file system involves running it as a service to mount it as a network drive. In the Triggers tab, click the New button. This is where you set the conditions for the task to run. We select Add System Startup, so that after the system starts, the mount task for this file system will be triggered automatically. Switch to the Actions tab and click the New button. This is used to associate the JuiceFS client program and its mount options. Use the Browse button on the right of Program Script to locate the JuiceFS program directory on the C drive. Then select the JuiceFS client program. In the Add Arguments input box, enter the mount command and the D parameter to specify mounting in the background. Next, enter the address of the metadata engine, and finally, specify the drive letter to mount. Click OK to save. Next, switch to the Conditions tab. This is used to set the conditions that must be met for the task to run. We need to check the option below, Start only if the specified network connection is available, to ensure that this mount task is executed only when connected to the network. In the Settings tab, you can usually keep the default settings. If you have special requirements, you can also adjust the relevant options yourself. Click OK, and now we've created a task. Currently, you can see that we haven't mounted the JuiceFS file system yet. Go back to the Task Scheduler window. Select the scheduled task you just created, and then click Run on the right side. You can see that the file system mounts successfully. In this way, we've manually verified that the task can be executed and the file system can be mounted successfully. Additionally, for the schedule task method, the JuiceFS file system mounted in the background can be unmounted by right-clicking the drive letter and selecting disconnect to unmount the file system. Now you can restart the system to see if the configuration takes effect. JuiceFS comes with a built-in WebDAV server, so you can mount a JuiceFS file system as a WebDAV service to the system for read and write access. On Windows systems, enabling the WebDAV service of JuiceFS is also very simple. We need to use the WebDAV subcommand, followed by the address of the metadata engine, and finally, the IP address and port number that the WebDAV service should listen on. Here, I am directly using the IP address 0.0.0.0. This will match all available network interface addresses, and such a configuration makes it convenient for access within the local area network or even from the public internet. I've set the port number to 9090, but you can set it to the local loopback address 127.0.0.1 or to a LAN IP address. In short, the IP address can be adjusted according to your actual network access needs. After the service starts, we can open Windows File Explorer, right-click on the blank area, and select Add a network location. In the address bar, enter http://localhost 9090, which is the listening address we just set up. Then, give it a name. For example, you can use the name of the file system. Once the setup is complete, File Explorer will automatically open a new window showing the file system directory of this WebDAV service. After that, you can try performing some file read and write operations. In the network locations of the file manager, you'll be able to see the current JuiceFS file system displayed as a network folder under this directory. Another important feature of JuiceFS is its S3 gateway. With the S3 gateway, the JuiceFS file system can provide services externally via the S3 API. Starting the S3 gateway is also very simple. You just need to use the gateway command. Before starting the gateway, you need to set access credentials. This is done using two environment variables. Menial root user is used to set the S3 access key ID, which is usually considered the username, while menial root password is used to set the S3 secret access key, which is typically regarded as the password. These credentials are the keys required to access the S3 API. The command to start the S3 gateway begins with the gateway command, followed by the address of the metadata engine, and finally the IP address and port number that the S3 gateway will listen on. Once the service has started successfully, open your browser, enter the listening address and port number you just set, and you will be able to access a simple web-based S3 file manager. The JuiceFS S3 gateway is implemented based on the open source project MinIO. Therefore, its file manager interface follows the design of MinIO. On the login page, enter the access credentials set via environment variables. After logging in, you can use this simple file manager to manage files in the file system. Of course, by using the listening address and access credentials with any tool that supports the S3 API to access the JuiceFS file system. If you need to frequently use the JuiceFS S3 gateway, setting temporary environment variables via command each time can be cumbersome. To simplify the process, you can add the access credentials to your system's environment variables. Find and open the System Environment Variable Settings program from the Start menu. Then, add these two environment variables and their corresponding values one by one. After finishing the setup, return to the terminal. At this point, you'll no longer need to set the credentials. You can start the gateway directly. The JuiceFS client will automatically read the required credential information from the system environment variables. To stop the gateway, just use the terminal and end the process with Ctrl+C. Alright, that's all for this video. If you found this video helpful, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. You're also welcome to join the JuiceFS user group, the Slack channel. Follow me, and I'll help you discover valuable IT technologies. I'm Hongru. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.